Today we're going to be looking at the 1989 Batman figure from Neca. Now, when I bought this figure, the only way for me to get it at the time was to purchase the 1989 Blu-ray Special Edition, and you got this figure with it. I'm not sure whether you could actually buy it separately. I'm sure you could at some point, but at the time when I bought it, you had to buy the Blu-ray to get the figure. Now, as a child, my favourite toy was a 1989 Batman Toy Biz figure, and even as a child, even though I loved that figure, I always dreamed of something more, and this is it. This has got to be the ultimate version of the Michael Keaton Batman in 7 inches or under. And I'm going to show you now just how nice this figure actually is. So let's pull that camera a little closer. Now, right off the bat, as you can tell, Neca did a fantastic job of making this look like it has been pulled directly out of the movie. There is no mistaking that this is a 1989 Michael Keaton version of Batman. It looks really screen accurate. And I've got to say, it is one of the nicest figures that I actually own in my collection. It's my pride and joy of my collection. The sculpt of this figure is absolutely amazing. They have actually got all the little details down to a T, or at least as far as I can tell. I can tell you now that I am not disappointed with this figure in the slightest. I absolutely adore it. I always have done, I always will. Now, as we pull this closer, the first thing you may notice is that the bat emblem doesn't quite look right. It isn't the classic Batman logo, and this is actually screen accurate. They didn't actually get it right in the movie. They made a mistake, I believe, and they designed it this way with the little bat feet on the bottom of the emblem. So that is actually 100% screen accurate. Neca haven't made a mistake though. The movie actually made a mistake, and Neca decided to keep it in the figure, which I'm quite glad about. The moulded rubber look of the body is actually a separate piece that is attached to the figure, which you would think would ruin the effect, but it actually doesn't. It actually looks quite nice. The gauntlets or the gloves are really, really well detailed, and the attention to detail on the belt is actually very, very good. Now, I might be wrong about this, but I seem to remember that the boots that Michael Keaton wore in this movie were actually Nike trainers that were spray painted black. And as you look at the boot on the Batman figure, you can actually see that it does actually resemble a trainer. Obviously, they haven't got the Nike logo on there, but it does resemble a Nike trainer in many ways. Now, like I said, Neca did a fantastic job with the attention to detail, the screen accuracy, and just overall how it just looks like Michael Keaton's Batman. There's no mistaking it, and I've got to say, it's one of my favourite figures in my entire collection. But if there was one thing I could change about this figure, and I am nitpicking here, I must say, but if there was one thing I could change, it is the cape. It is just a cloth cape, which I must admit drapes beautifully. It actually does look like the movie cape. But if it was some kind of light pleather material that give it that kind of leather look, that PVC leather look that Keaton had in the movie, I think it would have been even better. I may attempt to do this one day when I feel more confident. I have attempted it on the few of the McFarlane figures, the one you can see just in the background there. And I thought I did okay, but with this one I really need to take my time with it if I am ever going to consider attempting putting a pleather cape on it, because this figure is now hard to get hold of at a decent price and I don't want to mess it up. But that is something I will think about in the future. Before we do a few close-up action shots of this figure, there is one more thing I want to mention that Neca did not include, and that is the articulation of the neck. And for me, it's absolutely perfect. As you all probably know, in the 1989 movie and many of the movies up until The Dark Knight, Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney and Christian Bale couldn't turn the head because of the way the costume was designed, and Neca have actually included this. And if you do actually try and turn Batman's head, you will notice that the entire cowl piece turns with it, including the bat emblem, and as you can see, it doesn't quite look right if he's looking to his right or left. So just like in the movies, if you want to display your Batman looking one way or the other, you'll simply have to turn his entire torso. For me, that is absolutely perfect. Neca hit this one out of the park. That is absolutely perfect. Absolutely 100% screen accurate to the movie. In those movies, Batman could not move his neck. The Neca figure cannot move his neck. And normally figure collectors hate it when the figure isn't articulated in every single way, but for this figure, it couldn't be more perfect. And just as they got the likeness of Michael Keaton right, they actually got the likeness of the Batman cowl, the mask, perfectly. Not only that, you can see that the texture of the mask, the material, is exactly how it appeared in the 1989 movie. What I mean by that is that when Batman Returns came out, he had a lot more of a glossy finish to the outfit. It was shinier. This one looks a little bit more rough around the edges with that definite rubbery look to it, like a worn rubbery look that has definitely seen a little bit of combat.
Get